And good morning. This is Michael Lodge. I am the business advisor. Well, today is a Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? And all the other sayings that go along with it. But today's Friday. I'm happy today's Friday. It's a long weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. So we get a little bit of time just to sit back and rest and take some time off. I decided today that I was not going to touch Twitter. I was not going to touch anything that was going to deliver me news because I didn't want to get involved in all of the dirty politics and all of the negativeness and everything else. And so I thought, okay, no Twitter today, no Facebook, no nothing, except to post my podcast for the day. Other than that, Friday I'm going to take off. I'm just going to rest and relax. I feel as though that I need to rest and relax. I've had quite a few mediations this past week, and it wore me out. Listen, you know, we've been talking about this Elon Musk and him taking over Twitter. And so I want to talk about two things today. One about that, and specifically about due diligence. And then the other thing is about data security. And if you own a business, are you practicing good data security? Me, as a tax advisor, I have very specific and stringent rules that I have to follow. And it comes from the Internal Revenue Service, and it also comes from the Federal Trade Commission. Tax practitioners, tax preparers, CPAs, accountants, they're all under the IRS guidelines on the protection of your client's data. But the Federal Trade Commission also has us under banking. In other words, the data that we keep is as important as the data that banks keep on you. You have to admit that as accountants, we have your whole life story. We have everything about you. So you have to ask your accountant, are you protecting my data and are you following Federal Trade Commission rules and Internal Revenue Service rules? If they don't have a data, everyone is supposed to have a data protection plan on their website and hand it out to their clients regarding data protection. So you have to realize that you need to ask that question. And then you need to ask yourself, if you own a business, are you protecting your client's data? Now, let's get into this Twitter mess, okay? The AP came out with a story today out of Washington, D.C. that said Twitter will pay a $150 million penalty and put in new safeguards to settle federal regulators' allegations that the social platform failed to protect the privacy of users' data over a 6-year period. The Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission announced the settlement with the Twitter on Wednesday. The regulators alleged Twitter violated a 2011 FTC order by deceiving users about how well it maintained and protected the privacy and security of their non-public contact information. So the problem is that they were not protecting our data. They were collecting our phone numbers and everything else, but that data was not protected. The regulators also alleged in a federal lawsuit filed this past Wednesday that Twitter falsely claimed that it complied with U.S. privacy agreements with the European Union and Switzerland, which prohibit companies from processing user information in ways that are at odds with the purposes authorized by users. Twitter obtained data from users on the pretext of harnessing it for security purposes, but then ended up also using the data to target users with ads. FTC Chair Lynn Kahn. I'm sure that all of you have been on Twitter or even on Facebook, really. Let's say you go to Google and you say, okay, I want to Google e-bikes. I want to see information about e-bikes. All of a sudden, you see those ads popping up in Twitter. They pop up in Facebook. And it's just because you did a search. Well, the same thing was happening on Twitter. They were not protecting the data, and they were using the data for ads. So, as you think about Elon Musk and him doing his due diligence, the question has to be asked, and I'm sure that he knew that there was a risk of an ongoing lawsuit with Twitter, with the FTC and the federal government. Now, that kind of reduces the value of the company because they were doing things that were not in compliance with the Federal Trade Commission. What other things are sitting out there that we need to know about? What has Twitter been doing that have violated our security, our information, our data? And how have they been manipulating the tweets that we receive and the tweets that we send out? Because I know that it seems so strange when I'm on Twitter, if I post something, it seems as though that no one really sees. Or at least I don't know if they see. But if I go to my other networks that I use, I see a lot of things happening out there with the same information that Twitter has. Now, sometimes Twitter doesn't like the information that I have. I'm sure they're not going to like the conversation I'm having with you today about their data breach or their data security issue that they have to pay, what was it, $150 million on as a settlement. Now, to me, that $150 million should not be going to the federal government. That $150 million should be going to the users of that account, which is you and me. Because it was our data. It was our information. So when Elon Musk is doing his due diligence, he's asking all of these questions. What is outstanding? How good is your financial statements? And I'm sure he has his internal or external audit team in there looking at the financial statements to see what is his exposure. The key word is exposure as the new buyer. So it's, as you can see, these things come up and they keep coming up on Twitter. And I, as an investor, might say, if I was buying the company, I would say, let's hold off on that $40 billion price tag because I see some items here that is devaluing the Twitter brand. And one of them is this $150 million settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. What else is going to hit? So, due diligence is very important. Data security is very important. Just realize that if you have a company where you store data on your clients, you had better make sure that that is secure. That is locked down. That your clients and your employees, your employees have no access to that data except to run reports. I tell you, I had an individual that worked for me at one time. This is some time ago. Was working for me. He would not sign a contract, an employment contract, which secured my data. And he wouldn't sign it. Well, then he left the company. He left. Come to find out, he took all of my database with him. Now, that was very unethical. And I knew something was up because he just would not sign it. All my other employees would sign it, but he just would not sign that employment agreement. Now, did it secure anything? No, because all he did was take the names and phone numbers of all my clients, so he did not take their full tax data. But he took their names and phone numbers, and he used it for his own business. So we have a very sad situation when we know that we have control of data, but is it really secure? Now everything that I have within this office is so secure, no one can really even penetrate it because it's all secure. And I have the policies in place to make sure that that's monitored. And I'm always warning other individuals out there in the world, such as you, is your tax data secure with your accountant? And are you securing your client data with for your clients? Is the data secure? That's important because we have these renegades out there, these evil people who are trying to destroy businesses by obtaining the data of these companies, small companies to big companies. Every single day, I get phishing mail. We all get phishing mail. And I can spot phishing mail very quickly now. And I mark it as fish and I delete it as fast as possible off my system. Luckily, I have software that is protecting me and monitors that and tells me that it is phishing mail. Are you protecting your data? Your personal data, your client data, your financial data, your tax data, is it protected? Because right now we have a bunch of evil, conniving, I was going to say politicians, but it's about the same. Criminals out there, criminally minded, well, those are politicians, aren't they? Well, anyway, bad people out there who are trying to get a hold of information and data on you. And they sell it off. That's my podcast today. Now we're preparing for Memorial Day weekend. Everybody go out there and have a great weekend with your family and friends. And let's get to the point where we can sit back and relax, listen to some music, have a nice Diet Coke out on the deck, look up at the sun and say, okay, summertime, let's get it on. If you would like to hear more of my podcasts, go to my website. I have all my podcasts there, which is www.lodgelodge-co.com. If you want to have more access to me, want to set up an appointment to talk with me, go to www.lodgelodge-co.com. If you want to help support me, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. Again, that's www.buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. All my blogs are there. All my podcasts are there. Also, you can get me there. If you want to listen to me on iHeartRadio, just key in The Business Advisor, and it will find me. I'm on TuneIn. I'm on Amazon. I'm on iHeartRadio. I am on a whole bunch of other systems out there. So I'm out there. I'm out and about. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Remember what the day's about. Remember who you are remembering. Remember the individuals who gave their life for this country. Memorial Day, and remember those people that have been dearest to you. That's what Memorial Day is all about. God bless all of you. Happy Memorial Day. If you're having hamburgers, call me. I'll be there. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.